Alright guys, I am back, and so I got two knives in front of you right now. We're really looking at one, but I have a second because some people might say they look a little similar. I don't know. But, so this is the Bloodline by Holtzman. This is the Hydra by, this is the Esus by Hydra. So this I've had in my inventory for a while. I should have done this video a long time ago, but it really deserved, its own, a really good outside, test. So Hydra is a Spanish knife company, okay? So we're not looking at anything made in China here. And this knife, Esus, is a little different from other ones that we've seen. You don't see Nyolox steel very often. Lion Steel uses it, and they're a very good company. And some other really reputable knife makers do use it, but you don't see it that often. We'll talk about Nyolox a little bit later as we go into this video. First, we'll take a look at the knife itself. Now, this thing is heavy, I'm not gonna lie. It's a heavy, big slab of steel. Pros and cons. It really helps give you, well, this is technically, you could use it as a glass breaker or temple smash or whatever. It gives you good weight to do that. I like the balance on it, and having that weight would let you do some chopping with it. But some people might not like how heavy this thing is. I like it. I like my knife to have weight so I can feel it in my hand, so I know it just feels solid. So it's powder coated and G10 scales with orange G10 liners, which is why some people will compare it to the Bloodline. We'll look at that in a minute. But this has got to be one of the most comfortable handles I've ever felt on a knife. I'm not kidding. It feels perfect in my hand. And I have big hands, right? So it's big hand friendly. It's got nice big jimping right where your thumb would go. You can the hold on this is great. It's solid, it's comfortable. And you know what? So I'm going to bring out the Bloodline now because, like I said, people do sometimes compare these two. The Bloodline has some very hard edges, even though it's the same G10 with orange liners. It has some very hard edges. It's a comfortable handle. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, but this is perfectly contoured for your hand. I mean, the comparison people make is it's almost a similar blade shape, but you can clearly tell the difference. It's a big fixed blade knife, and it's got, a palm swell and black G10 and orange liners. I mean, that's basically it. This edge is factory fresh. I haven't used this for anything yet, so I don't have cutting money out here because I am a bad human being and ill-prepared for this video, but I wanted to do it while we had a little break in weather. So we'll start with some 550 cord cutting. Slice. The blade cuts before you even have a chance to pull it through, which is very nice. Hang on. Okay. Wait. Okay. Very good. Let's do a pull through. A little bit of effort. Little bit of effort, but not bad. That's the new pew with a big knife like this. Hold still. Pew! 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 Yeah, so nice sharp blade right out of the box. But this is a knife for doing things with. So let's start with, look at that. That's very fine little shavings. Very easy to control the blade too. It doesn't want to, I mean, if I wanted to, it would go straight into this wood, but really easy to control to do it nice and light and feathery. If we wanted to cut deep, not a problem. It'll do it very easy, and it's nice, and it's a nice smooth, to illustrate that it's a nice sharp edge there. I'm gonna use, I'll use this. See, and that leverage on the weight makes it nice for chopping. If you need to do that, make notches or whatever the hell you're gonna do with it. I'm surprised when so many people, tell me all sorts of things they do banging a knife into wood. Okay. You can't see it, it's a little off camera, but I need a better baton, but goes right through. Slice right through. I like it. A little less leverage on this piece, but so like I said, that weight gives it a real solid heavy chopping power. Let's take out a ferro rod. We'll have to steal it from the bloodline, which is a little bit ironic. I'm hoping that it's a 90-degree edge, but with the powder coat, I'm hoping it'll spark. Let's see. No. Wait. There we go. Okay. Have to wear a little bit on that edge too, honestly. But once you do, we've got sparks. The powder coat kind of covers a little bit of that rough edge that you need. I'm not upset that we exposed a little bit of the metal. But talking about exposing the metal, let's talk a little bit about Nyolox steel. And if you already know this, feel free to zoom past, but I think it's important that we cover. So Nyolox is a European steel, and it is basically an improvement on D2. It's a semi-stainless. You'll sometimes see it advertised as stainless. It's really not. It's a more corrosion-resistant, harder D2. So it's an alloy tool steel. It will corrode if you don't take care of it, like so many others, but it is more corrosion resistant. The key kind of element about Nyolox is niobium. Niobium makes really, really fine hard carbides in the steel when it's heat treated. So again, heat treat is everything. That makes it hold an edge very, very well. It is a little bit harder to sharpen than some other steels because of those very hard carbides, but that's what helps you hold a really nice edge. You can make this, you can harden it to about 61 Rockwell, and it's got toughness. You're not worried about it chipping. It's pretty good. The niobium also adds in that, like we said, corrosion resistance. It is much more corrosion resistant than a D2, than a plain D2. But still, again, you got to take care of it a little bit. The sheath you get is pretty cool because it's I don't know if this is injection molded. I don't think it's Kydex. I think it's an injection mold. But you get a little adjustment screw. So you can actually adjust the amount of retention in this sheath for what you want. Now, even with the lowest level, that knife isn't going anywhere. But it's just how hard or how easy you want to be able to draw that out. So you can have it at the most loose level, or you can unscrew this a little bit and move it all the way up to the top, and you can make it a little bit harder to draw out. And that's all personal preference. Like I said, I'm not worried about this knife falling out anywhere. You need a little bit more thumb pressure to pull the knife out of the sheath. The sheath is a double lock tech lock, so. And then once you get it where you want it, you rotate this till it clicks. It's a little hard, but it's a very secure thing. It clicks, and now this button can't be touched. It's a little different than most tech locks I see day to day. But it's, like I said, very, very firm hold on the sheath. I like it. I like this knife a lot. I want to use it a lot. I should have used it earlier. Like I said, I've been waiting for a really good opportunity to do this review. If you look on Hydra's website, they have this listed in euro because it's a Spanish company, but it comes to like $290. You find this thing on Amazon for $155. And some people might say that's a lot. I don't know, for a good fixed blade, good quality steel knife, that's not so much. I think it's doable. I would pay that for a good, survival type knife, outdoor kind of knife. Let's just see if we can still get it to cut nice and thin. Yeah, cut straight through, and we're still doing little tiny shavings. I mean, and yeah, I have not done a lot with this knife, but we've seen knives that even just with the tiniest bit of work on the edge will start to dull. I mean, badly heat-treated knives or cheap steel masquerading as something else will do that. I'm actually having a lot of fun making these little shavings. It's just so smooth. I really love this knife. I'm glad I got it. And if you were crafting something, the fineness of the edge, sorry, lost my thought for a minute, makes it nice and thin and even, so you're not worried about splinters. Or I have no fear of, I wouldn't do that on this edge, but right here, I would recommend this knife. If somebody asked me, like, what do you think of it? I would say, yeah. It's just a solid knife. I'm enjoying just playing out here. And now that we've done a little bit just of like the initial, look at it and just a little bit of chopping and cutting and stuff, we're going to do a follow-up shortly. We're really going to test this edge retention. We're going to do all of the stuff that is terrible on a blade. We're going to cut through cardboard. We're going to cut through whatever. And we're going to see how well this Nyolox steel retains that edge. So anyway, yeah, that is the Esus. Again, on Amazon for $150 something, or their website for $290, translated into dollars. What do you guys think? Do you prefer, question for the comments, do you prefer a heavy knife or one that is a little bit lighter, like when you're holding on to it? And no, you can't say, oh, something in the middle. No, I want to know, what would you rather prefer? A lighter knife, because this is definitely heavier than the Bloodline. A lighter knife in your hand or a heavier knife in your hand when you've got a big fixed blade like this or something. Let's talk about that. And also, what are your experiences with Nyolox? Anybody have one that is made out of, a knife made of Nyolox? Do you like it? Good, bad? What do you think? This also, by the way, I should say, this Nyolox has been cryo-treated, so that's just a different hardening technique. But anyway, it's a good solid knife. I think so. I like it. I want to know what you think. Do you like it? Is it something that you would want to carry? One of the things I really like about it is that it's not made in China. It's made in Spain, and Spain has a good long tradition of making blades. So I think it's pretty good. Well, I'm excited to see what you think in the comments. Thanks for spending a little bit more time with me. Remember that you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you. And I'll be back again real soon.